Good morning. Well, an interesting start to today. I had intended to do a mountain ridge walk above the valley of Masca. It's a huge, impressive valley, quite a popular tourist destination. Well, the village is down in the bottom of the valley. The ridge walk that I was planning to do starts from well, just as you start to descend into the valley, there's an old goat farm, and a path alongside the goat farm heads off into the mountains following a high level ridge. Anyway, I parked up just above the farm, walked down to where the start of the path is, and I was confronted by fairly aggressive keep out signposts and fencing everywhere. The path was completely and totally fenced off. Tried to find a way around it, but no, they'd done a thorough job. Obviously didn't want anybody there, so I decided to leave it. So what I've done is I've driven a few miles around the corner to a village called Los Llanos, and I've just left the village. I'm now heading up into the hills through the beautiful pine forest where I am now, and I'm heading for a couple of volcanoes. These are two of the most, well, one of them is the last eruption to take place on the island, and the other one is one of the more recent ones, but I'll tell you about them when I get to them. I've now been walking up through the pine forest for almost an hour. It's extremely hot, dead still, completely free of any sort of breeze or wind today, and extremely humid. So it's quite hard going. But having hiked up through the pine forest, as I say, for the best part of an hour, suddenly the scenery changes and you are now confronted with this. Now, this is a volcano that erupted in 1706. It's commonly known as Montaña Negra, although its real name is Volcan Garachico. But yeah, commonly Montaña Negra. It's called Garachico because when it erupted, we're quite high here, over 4,000 feet here above sea level. When it erupted, the lava flowed down the northern side of Tenerife and destroyed large parts of the port town of Garachico on the northwest coast. Garachico at the time was the principal port on the island, shipping wine to Europe, and it destroyed the port and sort of large parts of the town, and Garachico itself never regained its former status. Now it's an attractive small coastal town, village, and the lava, when it rolled into the sea, obviously eventually solidified and now forms sea pools that the locals use for swimming in, because the sea is very rough around that area. There's no real beaches, and yeah, there are ladders and walkways across the lava, and the locals swim in the natural lava pools. It's quite a pretty town, well worth visiting. Anyway, I'm going to climb up a bit further and show you some more views of the volcano. A short distance away from Montaña Negra, we come across the lava field created during the last eruption on Tenerife in 1909. Now this volcano is known as Montaña Chinyero. This whole area is the Chinyero Reserve. The main difference between the 1909 eruption and the 1706 eruption is that no dwellings, no towns, villages or whatever were harmed by the lava. It did flow through the countryside in a couple of different directions and miraculously stopped before hitting anywhere down in the Santiago Valley. And that is, in the centre of the picture, is Montaña Chinyero. Similar construction to Montaña Negra. They're both cinder cone volcanoes. Basically, a cinder cone volcano is simply a pile of volcanic debris thrown up when the ground opens up and starts spewing volcanic debris into the air, and they tend to be more or less the same height and very similar in construction. You can see here the vastness of the lava flow. This is all one flow of lava. There is another one in the opposite direction. In the background there, sort of more or less in the centre of the picture, you can just see Montaña Negra, where I was earlier. I'm just going to go up to this large volcanic rock here, this chunk of lava, and give you a better view. So here we are again, Montaña Chinyero, the last eruption site on Tenerife, 1909. Just spin round again so you can get a good look at the lava field. Again, Montaña Negra in the background. You can imagine what this must have been like when it was slowly moving through the countryside. Quite a sight, I would imagine. That's just a last look back at across the lava field towards Montaña Chinyero. There, more or less in the centre of the picture. Unfortunately, today it's extremely hazy. If you look carefully in the background behind Chinyero, you may see the faint outline of Teide, Spain's highest mountain. But I can only just see it myself. It's very, very, very thick haze today. It's very hot as well. So I'm cutting this walk short. I'm heading back to the car down through the woods. But yeah, it just gives you an idea of the sort of terrain in this area. Fascinating volcanic terrain of some of the most recent eruptions on the island. Can easily be done in 2 or 3 hours visiting both, or there is a circular walk around Chinyero, about 5.7 kilometres, which you can access from the Teide road up from Chio, the village of Chio. But otherwise I've come up from Los Llanos. If you come up from Los Llanos, the way I came, you pass Montaña Negra on the way, and it's about just under 6 kilometres to get here, so you're talking a round trip of around about 12 kilometres. And there is also a circular path around Montaña Negra as well, that isn't quite so clear or quite so well signposted. Anyway, that's a quick overview of, as I say, a couple of the most recent eruptions on the island. Hope you enjoyed the film.